So, does anyone have any questions regarding the e-bike?
Mayor, have you tried this yet?
Not yet. I'm eager to, but I was supposed to do so today, but I think because of the rain, I'm not going to be able to. What I have been in close touch with my team. You know, we had the experience a couple of years ago, so not just operation planning, but also the police department, public safety, to make sure that we were comfortable with whichever company wanted to come in. And their safety mechanisms, as you just saw, are solid, and we feel confident putting them out onto the street.
Is the reason you're starting at 100, then building up to 400, just to make sure that the safety measures are?
So I think it's a combination of a lot of things. You know, we were supposed to have these a while back, but with the coronavirus and shipping issues, that slowed things down. So it's going to take a while for us to ramp up, but we're eager to ramp up.
Could you just talk a little bit more about Providence Police's role here and how they're going to help make sure that this is safe?
Yeah, so, you know, just to put it frankly, we weren't going to allow another company in without the police department signing off that, you know, they couldn't be easily hacked, they couldn't easily be stolen, etc. And so they went through a process back and forth a number of times, and our police department tells us that they feel very comfortable with this design. So we're comfortable putting them on the streets.
What have you done to address neighbors and neighborhoods' concerns about these bikes?
So I think the number one concern was when they were being used unlawfully. So, you know, now, whoever is using them or whoever is the last to use them, you know, will likely be someone who's given their information, their credit card. It just makes it so much more likely that they're going to use it responsibly. So hopefully we're not going to have the same kind of issues as before. But one other thing that SPIN is doing is they have a person here on the ground that can respond to whatever concerns and whatever complaints we're receiving. So that's part of your job.
Yeah, and if I can just speak to that point. So we also have a 24/7 customer support line that can be reached anytime. Whether it's a resident, a bike, or a scooter is walking their driveway, we're able to respond within the hour to clear that. And that's something we really pride ourselves with our workforce, having W-2 workers, is that we have a secure, comfortable environment for them. We have our own vans that we are able to utilize, plus the electric vehicles that we're piloting here. So you will always see our team on the ground. We wear these orange shirts as this gentleman is wearing right here, Dan is wearing. So if you see our orange skirt and our safety vest, that's our team hard at work.
Some of the neighbors have expressed concern that essentially flooding the streets. In the past, some of these bikes wound up in the river. How do you say don't do those concerns?
Again, you know, we're always cautious about false positives or false negatives. Sometimes things don't work, but not necessarily based on their merits. Sometimes things work, but not necessarily based on their merits. And you know, we had a false start a couple of years ago. You know, we shouldn't throw out the baby with the bathwater. We had to go back to the well and, you know, figure out who's the right partner, what's the right system to put in place. And like I mentioned, you know, going through a rigorous process with many different departments, including the police, we feel comfortable putting them back out. Now, this isn't going to be without issue. I'm sure there's going to be concerns and complaints. But two things. First of all, SPIN has someone here on the ground 24/7 to address them. And the second point I'll make is that remember that SPIN has every incentive to make sure that this goes well for them as well. And sort of that alignment of interest means a lot to us. You know, this is the first city that they're coming in. This is a major investment that or direction that, you know, the parent company wants to go in. Everybody wants to see this go well. So, you know, we found a good partner, and we'll work through the challenges. But I'm hoping that this is going to be successful.
Does the city derive any revenue from this?
Sure. You guys already have scooters. They already have scooters. How have you had any issues with those?
Yeah, can you speak to that?
Yeah, so we've been deployed since October 2019. We have a really great relationship with the city. The 311 number is something where if any issues arise, we're handling it right on site. We've been very fortunate to have really great residents and tourists here take care of our vehicles. So no issues, you know, to speak of. But as the mayor said, you know, we really want to have great behavior for the riders to ensure that they understand the right way to ride. And to Liza's point as well, being safe in the street is really so important to us.
Can you please address, can you make any comparison between these bike lots and the ones that were on the jump bikes? Why are these more secure?
work?
So for these locks itself and the jump bikes, from what I'm familiar with, they would come all the way out from the bike. So if you were to leave that bike lock somewhere else and start riding and you misplace it, that's an issue. These locks don't leave the bike. You cannot physically take this lock out. So this is an extra secure measure. And what I'd love to do is actually demonstrate just riding it, so you can see how the lock unlocks and any of the noise factors, things like that.
And I think to answer your question, if you remember the issue with the jump bikes, it wasn't so much the actual like physical lock. It was very easy to hack into. So I guess underneath the frame they would hack it, and that would free up the lock, and they could use it whenever. So this has a system that's just very, very difficult to hack into.
Does the city derive any revenue from this?
I'm sure we can get you the details on that.
You don't know?
Yeah.
We can get you the
Yeah,
details.
we'll get you all those
Do we
details.
want to do the demo?
Yeah, absolutely. So by downloading the Spin app, Android and Apple, both available, you'll download the app. And here's a map where we're located currently right now. As you can see, we have scooters around the park, and we also have the bikes. So you're gonna press this ride button here and scan the QR code. Now, as a new user, it's gonna wanna make sure that you're hitting all the safety measures. Know before you go, and it allows you to actually see what you should be doing to safely ride this bike. So by locking it, unlocking it, stopping, obeying the rules is extremely important. Once you press OK, you're gonna actually ask you if it's parked neatly. We love this feedback. Spin wants to know if that bike or scooter was parked correctly. This allows us to track the consumer who was riding it before to let them know next time please park away from the curb or anything like that. So once you ride, you're going to take this cable lock out, and now you're going to hear it beeping. In order to ride this, it has to be fully inserted in the back of this hub here. Once that goes off, we're going to press OK. And now the bike is ready to roll. Thank you. In order to safely move this bike down your kickstand, you need to push the bike forward. It will automatically release the kickstand and allow you to ride. Now, the great feature about this is sometimes for a standard bike, you're used to getting on, throwing your leg over. This area here allows you to actually go through the bike. So for someone who's a first-time rider, you're more stable in that manner. And then once you want to ride, you'll kick off and the pedal assist will start. In order to park the bike, you're going to put your foot down on the kickstand and with a little bit of force, pull it back. Once you're done, you're able to lock and end your ride utilizing this cable, and you hear it beeping because it knows that you're ready to either end your ride. Once you insert it on your app, it will actually allow you to end that ride also by doing the cable lock. The last step is to take a photo. This is for us. We do track the photos to make sure that you are parking it correctly, both scooters and bikes. So once you take the photo, it'll tell you that you want to use your photo or retake it, and then it asks you to rate your ride. We'd love to hear your feedback, especially for the e-bikes. This is, as we mentioned, the first product we're launching, especially in Providence. This is what we're looking to hear, consumer voice. So it was a great ride for me. I'm going to submit a 5-star. Other than that, it'll tell you how long your trip was, what your total amount was, and any other information for your ride report. Making sure it's securely locked in a bike hub, a rack, somewhere that's not obscuring the sidewalks or the streets is what we ask for. And lastly, we are offering a promo to ride the bike. I apologize, so I'll turn it this way. Try S300. So this will give you a $5 promo for the bicycle to ride. So we encourage users as well to take a test ride on it.
Is this the same app as the scooter app?
Same exact app. So you can find if someone wants to ride a scooter, one person wants to ride a bike, you can find both of them on the same app itself.
Thank you, guys. Can you please address geofencing and the fact that, for instance, on the pedestrian bridge, people are really not supposed to ride? We are continuing to have the problems with the scooters. They've backed off how quickly they can go. They are supposed to be walked across.
That's correct. So we're able to set geofences around the city. We work really closely with the city itself to identify areas of high risk or areas which we've had issues with, such as the pedestrian bridge. So one thing that we do on SPIN is that we ensure that we're constantly going around the pedestrian bridge, ensuring that the scooters and now the bikes are going to be parked further away. The geofencing, once you enter that area, it will cut off the throttles. And what that does is it doesn't allow you to motorize through that pedestrian bridge or that area. Our hope is that people will do what you say, is to get off and they walk it across, which is available. And once you pass that geo feature, you're able to then ride it like normal. We are working, like I said, very closely, even with the Providence Police too, on monitoring that area. But we're very hopeful that people with the rider behavior and those who have already ridden scooters are able to do the same for the bike.
So can you assure me that that geofencing is literally in place?
It is.
I'm the president of the Jewelry District Association, so I really want to be assured the scooters are still able to ride across, and that is a concern. And the other concern is having enough places for the scooters and the bikes to be appropriately left so that they are not littering or left in heaps where they create a safety hazard.
Absolutely. So on the Spin Team app, you're actually able to see the geofences, whether it's a no ride zone, a no park zone. They are in place, I can absolutely assure you. When someone does want to park, as I mentioned previously, we have incentivized parking, and that gives you a credit back. And for us, that's good rider behavior, and that's what we want to start training the people who are riding, where they can park and get that incentive for that. So there's other ways that us at Spin are trying to develop that and working with the city as well by making sure that the bike hubs or the racks are clear, that anyone can park there.